Why suffer through weekly updates when you can just binge watch finished shows and save your sanity? Today, I'm wrapping up the latest BLs to cross the finish line and sharing my honest thoughts. Let me know in the comments if I missed any of your favorites. Without further ado, let's get started. Beginning our list with Love of Sowell. Love of Sowell really said let's give the people a cop, a go-go dancer, human trafficking, and a surprise adorable kid named Sinto, and somehow made it all work with a chemistry so strong it should honestly be studied. The whole human trafficking boyfriend in danger plotline had me stressed in the best way, but then the finale decided everyone deserved a group hug, forgave a tyrant father in record time, and even had him doing go-go dances with the cops like nothing happened. Sir, he threatened your son's whole relationship 2 episodes ago. Add in an hour plus runtime per episode that dragged more than it needed to, and a mum who abandoned her kid with 0 consequences. And it's clear the writers ran out of courage right when things should have gotten messier. Still, between the sweet family moments, the solid production, and 2 leads who clearly adore working together, this one earns its spot as a genuinely fun, if occasionally cowardly watch. Next on our list, Blazing Him. I really wanted to love Blazing Him for its promising musical storyline, but the entire execution ended up being a masterclass in how to completely waste potential. While the show initially teased us with a gorgeous soundtrack and a highly intriguing masked singer concept, the narrative quickly drowned in a sea of aggressively cheap bullying tropes and exhausting childhood friend cliches. Even the lead actor's genuine on-screen connection was totally sabotaged when it came to their romantic payoffs, leaving us with rigid, utterly motionless lip locks that completely drained the tension. It is honestly tragic to watch such a stellar premise derail so spectacularly, leaving behind a messy, half-baked project that will mostly be remembered for its hilariously chaotic subtitle errors. Also on our list, Ticket to Heaven. After 2 years of waiting, Gem 4th finally delivered Ticket to Heaven, and it wrecked me in the best way. A seminary student falling for a broody transfer boy while wrestling God for custody of his own heart is genuinely one of the most gorgeously shot, emotionally devastating premises TBL has ever attempted. The chemistry, the cinematography, that bathing scene to kiss sequence, the way faith and desire tangled into something that actually made me tear up on a Saturday night. This is peak 2026 television, and I will die on this hill. Sure, 6 episodes felt criminally short, the 30-year time jump age nobody convincingly, and a few plot threads just evaporated into thin air. None of that stopped this from being an absolute masterpiece, and if you haven't watched it yet, honestly, what are you even doing with your life? The 4th spot on our list, Lost to You. For 11 episodes, Lost to You had me fully invested in a terminally ill rich boy and his Jinx hometown crush healing each other's trauma through some genuinely tear-jerking hospital scenes and top-tier chemistry. Then episode 12 showed up with a random comet apocalypse. A decades-long closeted father who did a full 180 after one conversation, and an ending so baffling that half the fandom collectively agreed to just pretend episode 11 was the finale instead. Add in a GL subplot that appeared out of nowhere, teenagers moonlighting as street fighters and self-taught surgeons, and a Scarface tattoo gang member who vanishes without explanation, and you've got a writer's room that clearly ran out of both time and coherent ideas. It's genuinely such a shame, because everything before that last episode was shaping up to be one of this year's most underrated Chinese BLs, and then it just imploded on the finish line. Next on our list, lately it's winter season, Mafia boyfriends, 6 years of unresolved pining, and Tiger passing out cold just because now called him Fen. Somehow lately it's winter season still manages to be the shakiest entry in the Forever You lineup despite having all the right ingredients. The Mafia family subplot with its cartoonishly evil dad ate up way too much runtime, leaving the actual romantic payoff between Tiger and Now feeling rushed and underbaked by the finale, and the supporting cast delivered lines like they were reading off cue cards. Still, the slow burn itself was genuinely charming. The leads had real warmth together, and even A Week Forever You arc comes with better bones than most other shows released this year. Flaws and all, this one still earns its spot on the must-watch list for 2026. Just maybe don't go in expecting it to top the franchise. The sixth spot on our list, Your Dear Daddy. There is nothing more frustrating than watching a show lay down the perfect blueprint for a masterpiece only to completely trip over its own shoelaces, which is exactly the tragedy that befell Your Dear Daddy. The series initially held immense promise with its stunning contrast of corporate sophistication and cozy countryside tea fields, anchored by Fluke and Pune's genuinely electric crackling chemistry. Regrettably, that goldmine of potential was utterly starved of execution when the writers decided to choke the runtime with a dizzying assault of irrelevant subplots, making the final arc look like a rushed jigsaw puzzle put together in the dark. It ultimately averages out to an okayish mildly pretty distraction if you just want some easy fluff, but whether you should actually sit through this masterclass in botched execution is entirely your call to make. Last but definitely not least, The Lie We Lived In. The Lie We Lived In had me absolutely feral over a contract killer who paints mountains, kisses like it's an Olympic sport, and somehow still finds time for a hostage situation. Genuinely one of the best KBLs to hit the genre in a while. Chu Tae-jong, meanwhile, has to be the single most unqualified cop in Korean television history. A man who cannot spot an obvious imposter, does zero actual investigating, and still gets offered a promotion for it. I was yelling at my screen every single episode. Somehow the show still managed to nail the tension, the cinematography, and a plot twist that left my jaw on the floor, which is wild considering half the cast makes questionable life choices for love. Messy detective work aside, this series earned its hype, and I'd rewatch it purely for the chemistry and chaos. There are other BLs that recently ended too, but unfortunately, I haven't caught up on them yet. Which BL series do you plan to binge watch? Thank you for watching. That's it and see you on the next one.